A list of mania, think less but see it grow.
Hello everybody, it's the Lawn Gnome, and welcome to your July 2016 episode of 10 for 12. If you want to take a look at some of the other topics that were featured in this little segment every single month, please take a look at the playlist provided in the box below. And today I'm very excited because this topic of the month is one that I really wanted to tackle for a very long time, but it was just so hard for me to tie some other people down because these are collaborative videos, by the way. I always love to do this with other people, but I think I finally got two people who are truly worthy of doing this topic with me. They are both heavily into film, are Tyrell and Johanna, and I will be putting their channels as well as their videos into the box below, so you can take a look at who they are and what they're all about, because they are definitely great, kind-hearted, and true passionate film fans, and it is an honor to work with them this month. The topic, on the other hand, it could be a little dicey because it is underrated directors. Now, this is not something that is statistical. This is something based on myself and their own mindsets as film fans. While some people can consider one director phenomenal, the other can think of that person as lame. And it all is because of the fact that the movie that I sit in front of, if it's not what I like, I don't really care about the people that are behind the camera, and when I want to give them a second chance, if they keep showing me something that I'm not happy about, then I don't consider them great directors. There are some that actually have been great directors in the past and then hit a little bit of a slump. So, for now, I'm going to give you guys who I feel are my 10 current overrated directors. Number 10 is Michael Mann. I see so many trailers for this guy's movies, and they all look gorgeous. They look like fantastic action movies and things that I can really sink my teeth into. One of his biggest teasers was the full-length production of the film Miami Vice, of course based on the legendary 1980s television show. But it flopped. And honestly, most of the movies that I've seen that he has directed, not really interested. I find them very boring. So, why is this guy considered one of those very praiseworthy directors if his films are not getting the credit that people are supposing that they deserve? Number 9. I'm gonna ruffle some feathers here. Christopher Nolan. Now, don't get me wrong. I think that Memento is one of the greatest films of all time. I don't really think that the Dark Knight trilogy is the strongest film saga as a whole. Granted, The Dark Knight is brilliant, and Heath Ledger's performance is legendary, but there are some other movies of his that I really didn't find to be just so awe-striking and just blowing me away. And one of them happened to be Interstellar. I was looking forward to seeing a powerful film like that, and it was powerful. And then the film got to the third act, and I just didn't get it. It reminded me of another director who we will be getting to later on in this program. Number 8 is Spike Lee. Spike Lee is responsible for one of the greatest films that I have ever seen, and that is Do the Right Thing. I haven't seen He Got Game, even though so many people say that it is a great movie. What else out there did he really have that was just so fantastic than Do the Right Thing? I haven't really even heard much people talking about Chirac, and it looked pretty cool, but no one talked about it. So, if you literally only had one truly great movie that is your claim to fame, besides having front court seats at the New York Knicks games, what makes you a fantastic director? Number 7 is Darren Aronofsky. I love Black Swan, but I've seen so many of his other movies. I was so disappointed in Pi. I was so creeped out by Noah. So, I don't know what to really make of this guy. And it's a real pity because there are some people that truly love his work. But besides Black Swan, I just didn't see it. Number 6 is also going to probably make a few jaws hit the floor. But again, we're talking about current overrated directors. Steven Spielberg. He has a slew of fantastic films to his name, and he is responsible for one of the most emotional films and a movie that I am truly proud to have seen, which is Schindler's List. And some of my all-time favorite movies are his, including the Indiana Jones trilogy, E.T., and Close Encounters of the Third Kind, and even movies that I did not anticipate to be great, like Minority Report and Bridge of Spies. They were great too. But there are so many movies that he has made that have just missed the mark. Warhorse? Really? Number 5 is Francis Ford Coppola. Really pains me to say something like that, especially because of the fact that he is responsible for one of the greatest film trilogies of all time. But Apocalypse Now? I just didn't get it. And what else did he even make that I actually saw and enjoyed? Granted, Bram Stoker's Dracula was a serious mind trip, but it was nothing compared to The Godfather. And when you take a look at him and that legacy, I don't know, I just kind of wonder what it is about him that made him truly special if he really only has a very small amount of great movies to his name. Number 4 is Ron Howard. Now, Ron Howard is definitely a legend at his craft. I mean, we all even know him all the way back to Richie Cunningham in Happy Days. And he is also responsible for some movies that were very impactful, like Apollo 13. One of the best movies that I have seen is Rush, starring Chris Hemsworth and Daniel Bruhl. He even has a Best Picture winner in A Beautiful Mind. But In the Heart of the Sea, The Da Vinci Code, ugh. There are just so many missteps that Ron Howard has taken that so many of his true gems have to make so much more effort to truly shine through. Number 3 is Oliver Stone. I don't know what happened to him. He made Platoon, he made Wall Street, and he made JFK. And then it all went horribly wrong. After those 3 movies, there really isn't a single movie that I truly love from Oliver Stone. I was not a fan of Alexander. Wall Street 2, Money Never Sleeps is okay. World Trade Center to me is a disgrace. If you want to see a truly great movie about 9/11, see United 93, directed by Paul Greengrass. But I just don't understand why this happened to him. You know, like, he was not a bad director at the beginning. He even put Charlie Sheen on the map, for crying out loud. But we all know what happened to him, too, and that's another story for another time. But I question Oliver Stone, to be honest with you. Number 2, George Lucas. Yes, Star Wars. The man, the myth, the legend. But that's his movies and his story and his characters. Do you recall the times he's actually sat in the director's chair itself and directed a movie? Episode 1, Episode 2, Episode 3? Heck, even Episode 4. He's a fantastic storyteller, but he doesn't know how to direct. And all of the movies that belong to him that were put into the hands of other directors, heck, Steven Spielberg, Indiana Jones, legendary. George Lucas in the director's chair, not so much. And my number 1 overrated director, Stanley Kubrick. I know. Film students, film mavens, they praise this guy. 2001: A Space Odyssey, A Clockwork Orange, Full Metal Jacket, Eyes Wide Shut, The Shining. I don't care for them at all. A Clockwork Orange to me was definitely intriguing, but that's also because of the fact that I'm a die-hard Malcolm McDowell fan, and I found it as a very unique look at a post-apocalyptic future. The only movie that Stanley Kubrick directed that I truly loved was Dr. Strangelove. I loved the comedy, I loved the acting of George C. Scott and Peter Sellers, but that's the only Stanley Kubrick film that I have ever seen that I actually liked. And not just liked, I loved it. I was laughing and I couldn't contain myself while I was watching that movie. But everything else that he has made, I think they're pretty stupid. And those are my 10 overrated directors, everybody. I really hope that we keep the conversation civil here. I'm not saying that if you love them, you're an idiot, okay? You're allowed to love whatever you love. If you're a Stanley Kubrick fan, good for you. I'm happy that someone finds value in his movies. And same thing goes for current Steven Spielberg movies and Christopher Nolan movies. Again, I'm not saying that some of these directors are even bad. I'm just saying that I don't understand what makes them so great. Please put your comments in the box below and let's have a discussion about all of these names and maybe some others that you think I may have missed. And I'll be glad to debate with you. But let's keep it civil here, everybody. Because if you're just going to come down and hate on me, believe me, we're not going to be having a good conversation here. And I also want to thank Tyrell and Joanna for doing this with me. I'm really looking forward to what you guys have chosen in regards to who might be your overrated directors. And we'll see you guys in the next 10 for 12, because it's going to be a fun one. And actions speak louder than words.